What's up, everyone? My name's Lisa, for those of you that may not know. So I've just kind of been having a lazy afternoon. I'm having a little bit of pain, and so I'm like dealing with that and healing from that. And anyway, so I've had plenty of time to do some reading and watch some videos, and I just really got moved to make a video and to begin sharing about what I have been healing from for years, really, since I would say the deep healing began when I began my YouTube channel. And I have always shared on here how I have felt that this spiritual journey is this inward journey, right? And the twin flame journey has awakened me to a healing from control, the controlling of others, right? It's brought me down a path of self-love, and really allowed me to dive deep and to embrace the idea that I ultimately cannot change anyone, and not just say that, but to really truly own that in my heart, like to feel it and to know that I can love everybody, but I don't have to always choose to stay in that relationship dynamic, or I may need to establish better boundaries to keep a relationship dynamic going. You know, there's this word that people, this narcissistic word. And my belief is that all of us, I don't want to say, well, I don't know if all of us is, I feel like the fact that, this is my personal opinion, my just belief from how I have seen the world and how others have shown up in my life and how I myself have shown up in my own life. My background is very much surrounded by narcissism, and growing up around them within a family dynamic, also participating, also playing the part of, I would say I had a variation of roles, throughout my sickness. I'm not really sure. My dis-ease, we'll call it that, my dis-ease. Because as I got sober and began to do the inward journey, with every day that I was sober, with every day that I began to look inward, I was one step further away from that dis-ease, right? But along my path from putting down drugs and alcohol, because my mind was finally able to be clear, all right? And I also remember, I've shared on here how I have been raped and gang raped. I've just suffered a lot of trauma in my life, okay? And even when I first got sober and I was like gung ho, ready to like face all this stuff, they told me I needed 3 to 5 years. I needed to call them. I needed to stay sober for 3 to 5 years and then call them back. And then they would start working with me. Okay. So, so that in itself is, I don't know. I just feel like that says a lot. So, you know, psychology and the study of it is very fascinating, but I don't believe that it's everything. I believe that I've always shared with you guys as well that I believe that we can heal ourselves. Okay, but how we heal ourselves is not just like by ignoring the resources that we have, but I also feel that it requires a very deep relationship with a power greater than yourselves, whatever you feel that is. To me, I call them God. People call it Buddha, Jesus, whatever floats your boat. I believe it's all the same thing. Okay, again, my opinion. But not only that, it also requires a honest responsibility of your own participation. I don't believe that as someone who was gang raped, that was my fault. Or as a child who was a victim of sexual abuse or abuse of any kind, that was my fault. I don't believe that. What I do believe, I needed to take responsibility, and I do take responsibility for as I became aware, because awareness is the first step in change. And I can't change anything about myself until I have that awareness that I'm even doing something that shouldn't, I don't need to be doing, that isn't good for myself, or it could be hurting someone else, and so, but if I'm not aware of that, I can't change that. So once I have this awareness, and something can be an awareness where you have the awareness on your own, but sometimes somebody brings something to you and you got to take a look at it. And how I just determined on when somebody else brings you something and whether or not you should take it serious is, I was told, if more than one person brings you the same thing to look at, there might be something to it to take a look at it for. So that's how I used my own judgment on whether or not that was something I needed to take a look at. So, for me, I've heard and watched other videos on how people just like trash the twin flame journey and say it's like this trauma bond, blah, 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 blah. And I can totally see how they would see that and why people would say that. How I would say the way that my twin flame journey has been, and the way that I have felt I have helped those that have come to me for their twin flame readings, is that I am using my own intuitiveness as well as my own life experience and as guidance towards helping people become whole within themselves, because I feel that this is the purpose of the spiritual awakening anyway, to become whole within, to have that whole that you have within you to be filled with your relationship with your higher self, God, the universe, whatever you want to call them. And in doing so, this leads you to a place of unconditional love for yourself, first and foremost, and then it allows for an unconditional love towards others. Now, that being said, having unconditional love for others does not mean there are no boundaries. Boundaries is another level of this unveiling or shredding of the old self, because I do believe that, part of these mental ailments or dysfunction, this dis-ease that we are in, because usually when you start your spiritual awakening, there is some sort of like for me, I lost 5 people within a 19-month period, and then a year and a half later, the man I was madly in love with. Like, that is like, and within that same time frame, of like that 3 years, my house was robbed. I lost all my money. Okay. I had to move into a home dynamic of like with people I did not trust or hadn't really had that close of a relationship with. My son was just like beginning to recover from being having like a life-threatening illness. He also, there was boom, 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 just a lot happening, so they say that your spiritual awakenings can be brought on by, these major life experiences all happening like this. Sometimes it's like a near-death experience. Okay, so whatever it is, like they're like catalyst into this change, right? And so, depending on how open you are for it, is really, I'm not really sure if it really changes the uncomfortability that is meant to be experienced, because I personally, and what I have to go on is just my experience and the experience that I've had with other people who have come to me for their own readings, and that is like, we have to work through our own issues. Okay, so it's like, it's not so much as, okay, pointing out like, oh, that person's a narcissist, so let me take away from, get away from the narcissist. There's a whole nother part of it. It's like, okay, so why am I attracted to these people? Okay, and what is it about me that, feels like I can change this kind of person, or that I get stuck and I stay, or I feel like I can't move out of it? So these are all issues that I had to look at within myself, and to heal within myself. It has a lot to do with my self-worth. And, just, it went back to a lot. I'm talking like, for me, the spiritual journey has been an inward journey to healing, the smallness that I felt inside, and bringing my rage to the forefront, my anger, my smallness, why, this victim mentality. And instead of feeling like a victim, empowering myself and taking control and saying no more. Now, did saying no more mean no more? No, I had to practice. It's been 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. Okay, it's like the length of time that I might stay in a sticky situation becomes shorter and shorter, because every time I go back, or I have gone back, I have gathered some sense of wisdom. Okay, I have learned, for me, the hard way, okay, the long way, that's I have taken the scenic route of recovery. And this is why I share the way that I do on my channel, because I'm hoping that what has taken me, 20 some years to get to the other side of, like now I'm 51, and it's the first time in my life that I feel like truly confident in who I am, and that is a feeling I never even knew that I longed for, You're we're going to meet people wherever we go. Okay, I have to keep it on me. I can't tell people how you're feeling. I don't know you. You know you. This is my experience. This is how I have to talk. This is I don't personally like it when people tell me how I'm supposed to feel, or this is why you feel this way, or blah 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 blah. Okay, because I try to, when I'm talking to somebody, or even when I'm going to like a therapy, like I go to somebody who has some sort of experience with whatever it is that I have to discuss, right? Okay, because um, it's like I just, like I said before, there's education is one form of awareness, but personal experience is another, and I feel like it's equally as important. So anyway, so you know I don't know, I lost my whole train of thought there, but the bottom line is, I have this channel because I hope to inspire you to heal and to take responsibility of your life, because yes, once you become an adult, you know and once you become aware of the things that you're doing that aren't nice, or require attention. Okay, I remember, they brought it back to me. So we're going to be meeting these people that like to poke and prod, and you know yeah, we don't have to fire back. I have gotten to a point into my life and into my healing where it's like, I see it, I I understand it, and but how have I been? Because you spot it, you got it. I remember feeling that way, feeling as inadequate, feeling so powerless that, in order to feel powerful, I had to try and make somebody else feel less than, or, um, you know, feel as if I was better than, So what what do I do? So what do I do now? I mean, it's this awareness that I have no control over anybody else. And I'm here to help people that want to be helped. And that has been a whole other course of for my learning along my journey of healing, is recognizing who wants to be helped and who doesn't. And so that I learn where to invest my own time and energy. For as long as I've had my channel, and I have done my readings, I've worked with several people who have grown so much and have just, like, my wish for every person that comes to me and every person that watches my channel is to have a day where it's like, you no longer need to get a reading from me, that you no longer even need to watch my videos anymore, because you trust yourself enough. Because that is what I feel true healing means, is that you trust yourself enough. You can, you can make your own decisions. Maybe you might have people that you bounce things off of that you trust, but it's like, as far as having that your own self-doubt about your decision making, um, you know, I'd like to think that I help people to come into their own awareness. I have been told from people who have been so kind as to share their life with me and allow me to, dive deep with them, because when I do a reading, it's not like a typical reading. Okay, we're not spying on people. We're diving deep into you, and I'm able to see so deep into who you are that I can help you to maneuver around your own insecurities so that you can become whole, because it's never about what your partner's doing or anybody else is doing. Your parents, your brothers, your friends, your coworkers, whatever. It's about how are you showing up and how are you handling life. There's like, if you're in a state of mind where you're still seeking validation or being vindictive, like retaliation against other people, or playing games as far as like, um, singling people out, and just all that kind of like, that is a sign, that's an awareness. Okay, maybe I'm the first person that's telling you that you have some healing to do, because true confidence, true healing isn't seeking validation. It's not singling people out. I feel that true healing is unconditional love. And maybe with boundaries, okay? Maybe you have to have clear set boundaries, and you don't allow people to, like, I don't share my time with everybody, okay? I'm very, very, I'm not letting just anybody into my house. And that's because this is my home. This is my safe haven. And I don't share my own personal time with a lot of people, because I just don't. It's my time. I'm not the kind of person. If you're sitting around and all you're doing is talking about other people, like I'm not there. That's not my thing. And it's fine that it's your thing, but it's not my thing, and that's not what I want to do with my life. I don't want to waste like 20 minutes or 30 minutes of my life, doing that. And so, but I know that there has been a time in my life when I was like that. That's why I'm saying, like, you spot it, you got it. Okay. That's the reason I can see these things in other people, is because I clearly and honestly remember being that kind of person, and, my spiritual journey and this whole twin flame journey has really helped me move to this place of having more compassion for myself, letting go, evaluating my circumstances, realizing where I've come from, okay, but understanding like from where I came, and seeing, okay, so from where I came, those people were broken and scorned too, and so it's like, is that a pass? Is that an excuse for their behavior? No. But does it allow me to forgive and move on past it? Yes. Does that mean that all these people are going to be allowed back into my life? No. Some of them maybe, but the access will be very, very different, and some of them, it's like I've made my peace with it and I'm ready to move on, there's just such a harsh, like, either you are or you aren't, either you're good or you're bad. And I believe that we're all a little bit of everything. And it's really about, at least what it's been about for me, is learning how to balance all these different aspects of myself and recognize when I myself like feel like flipping out like lunatic, okay? Or when I've wanted to, and recognizing, okay, why am I feeling like this? Why do I want to do what's going on? Oh, it's affecting my ego. Okay. Oh, whatever is going on, but it takes self-awareness. It takes that pause. Okay. I have all these little slogans that I've used for years and years that have truly helped me to become more and more self-aware of what I'm doing and when I'm doing it and why I'm doing it, and now I have kids and they also remind me of when I'm doing certain things, and so they can be very helpful for that, and children. And so anyway, I was just watching a video and I just got really inspired just to share my story. I want to share more about just the kind of experiences that I've been through, dealing with individuals or situations where I have felt suppressed, and the ways that I have empowered myself to move past that, to where I'm not like blaming or shaming the other person or even carrying the blame or shame, okay? Because that person may be upset that I'm sharing, I would never, I have done my I feel like I have done a pretty good job about, not name dropping or anything like that, because it doesn't matter the who or the why. What I'm in hopes of helping people overcome or to reestablish like who they are on their own, taken away from like, you don't have to be defined by the house you live in or the amount of money in your bank account. You're not defined by that, okay? Or the amount of friends you have, or the male or the female standing next to you. You aren't going to go to hell if you stand up against your parents. Some parents don't know all the answers. I mean, they just don't. They're just as human as anybody else, and as a human, we are all here learning. So if we're learning, that means that we are like wide open for being fully capable of making mistakes. And I feel like the longer I stay along my spiritual path and the deeper that I go, like the deeper my insight goes on who I am and why I do the things I do, the more I believe that we're just all really meant to get to that place of accepting that we're all in the same boat. And maybe there are some people that are more willing to take responsibility for their part than others, but that doesn't mean that one is better than the other. So anyway, I would love to assist anybody who's willing to put in the work and to take responsibility for themselves, because I don't sugarcoat things. I will tell you the truth, but I will tell you in the most gentle and loving way so that you can heal and grow, because that is the bottom line. Like I said before, my biggest wish for anybody that watches my videos is to get to a place somewhere in their life where they don't need to watch my videos at all. Or maybe you start your own channel, whatever the heck, And anyway, because your greatest power is within you. So that's what I hope that anybody gets from watching my channel. and that you can come from broken and disturbed and shine no matter what. No matter what, like not based on the material at all. Although I do believe that that stuff comes, but you can get to that place. I feel like it's more important to be in that place in your mindset where you aren't defined by those things, that no matter whether or not you have those things or not, because if you define yourself by your house or your money or your job or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever, and then you lose those things, what happens? What happens to you? That's why I feel like it is so important to understand that you are powerful. Like, you are the powerful one with your higher power, your higher self, working together with that, having that relationship be your top priority relationship. And then everything else, I just feel like everything else will just come towards you. And that way, when the cookie crumbles or whatever, the house falls, you lose your job, like, you don't lose your shit. You know that no matter what, you got this. Or so has my experience been. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope that you have an amazing Sunday. And yeah, let me know what you think about this. And I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.